he kind of gets locked into an almost every other day type schedule, and just how does his kind of routine and preparation built for that?
I have no idea. I mean, the story that I've told is one of the first days I was with the team, and it was early in the regular season, and I'm walking out and he's doing some sort of Olympic lifting after the morning skate, and I just froze. Like, I didn't tell him he was playing. I just assumed that he knew he was playing, and I didn't think the goalie coach knew. We didn't tell the man he's playing tonight. He's out. That's his routine. So I stay as far away from that, clearly, as I can. I don't think Bob's routine is built over his entire career, modifies it, changes it as it goes, but there's not a big shift in what he does.
Left side, second row.
Paul, how good was it to get Evan back for Game 7, and how did he look to you?
Yeah, he was right on and fine. I think, in truth, I was probably overly cautious in Game 6. He said he was right and ready to play. I really had liked the way Jesper Bohlqvist had played in that situation. I thought, and I liked the way that he played in Game 6 as well. But I just didn't want any unknowns on the bench with a player. So that was kind of a coach's call. So once that game was over and we were going to Game 7, there wasn't any question of whether he was playing or not. He felt he was ready for Game 6.
Right side, third row.
Paul, you had a couple of guys that didn't skate this morning.
Right.
Any of them at risk of not playing tonight?
No, they're all at 100%. So we've been doing this on all of our. We play every second night. We got guys that just don't morning skate, and we're fine with that. It's really, they're really at the point that players are driving kind of all that, whether they're practicing or not. That's the numbers up on the board, and away we go.
Right side, second row.
Hey, Paul. I was speaking with Nate Schmidt before about being one of the guys on the roster that doesn't have a ring yet. And he said when you're on this team and you play in the playoffs, because there are so many guys now that have one that are on the roster, it's just sort of like you just follow what they're doing. And I was wondering, from your perspective, to have that proof of concept for players that come to the team, how much easier does that life become?
I think the emotional swings are less. So I don't worry about checking on these guys to make sure they're not getting too high. And I thought the most important part of my job would be handling the first loss. That would be the toughest. So we lost Game 3 to Tampa. And how we handled that next day would set up all of how we would handle the rest of the losses going forward. My experience with this group this year is I'm less concerned about it. They've just been through it. So clearly we had some tough losses toward the end of that season last year. So we all have experience in the, hey, I haven't slept for 3 days because of that last loss. So I think that there's a narrower band of emotions for our team.
Up front.
Paul, with Seth, he obviously comes in at the deadline. How is he's played with a couple different pairings. Like, just how has he kind of meshed himself with the team and specifically on the ice?
Yeah, it was probably a blessing in disguise because we had Aaron Ekblad was out of the lineup, and then we just had some injuries that he had to play with just about everybody, and he had to have a completely different systems that he's played before, different style of play. We wanted to kind of monitor his minutes, and I think we played him like 29 minutes. We were just, I had actually played him. He played the last game of the year, and I had him out. We just had another injury come in that night, so he played a ton of hockey. And now he's been able to get with a set partner. And the game actually simplifies in the playoffs more than it expands. Teams get to the bare bones of what they do, and they just do it over and over again. So he's getting cleaner reps and reads on the way up the ice, and I think that's helped him an awful lot.
Right side in the back.
Hey, Paul. I was also speaking with Nate Schmidt this morning. He talked about how the team that gets the puck to the forwards the fastest in this series is the one that's going to prevail. Knowing the pressure they bring on the first wave and the pressure they build down the boards with their defense, how do you convince your guys to avoid falling into the trap of always wanting to go tape to tape and get that fluidity going up the ice?
So you have two teams that I would say, from a defensive point of view, have identical philosophies, right? It's all about gap. It's applied differently, and that's personnel-based, right? We have a different in general, our players are maybe built differently than their players are built. But the philosophy is the same. Both teams, we've played each other enough that there's less time in this series than in other series that you would have played. So the team that makes the adjustment to that the fastest probably has the advantage early. But both teams are going to make that adjustment by the 10-minute mark of the first period, if not between the first and second period. You're going to feel it. There's just no room. So you aren't slowing the game down. The game's never going to get slowed down out there. You have to stay at or above that pace, and you're trying to drive it.
We have time for one more. Mike in the back.
Paul, can I just ask you about more about Bob and the Olympic lift? So we just witnessed it too, and I actually made the comment like if I was Paul Maurice, I'd have a heart attack seeing that. I mean, when did
it's perfect? You just don't avoid it.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
Is that unique to him, or like when did that change? I assume Archer Zerbe didn't do that.
No, but very similar. Funny that you brought him up. Very, very similar in the detail of what they do. Right to Archer's fixing his own equipment, right? And wouldn't let anybody touch it, and he kept stuffing those pads. And so very, very similar in that they don't leave anything to anybody else for their preparation. It works for him. Clearly a much better shape than I am, so I don't think I should judge him. I'm not in a position to critique his fitness routine.
Thanks for your time,
Okay.
Coach.